Right, final watch today for the hit miss maybe treatment is this. Also a Ripley, the Ressence Type 8 DEI. I thought the Americans had got rid of DEI. No? Have I got that wrong?
DE1.
D1, right, okay, and D2 watches. Yeah, this will be allowed to be imported into the States under the Trump regime.
You can't enter the States with this watch, huh?
Yeah, can't say so. This is you're pro DEI. Oh dear. Right. Anyway, Ripley, tell us about this from Ressence.
So this base model is kind of their quote unquote entry level model compared to other ones that have more indicators. This is not. This is a relatively pared back offering. It's basically a time only. That dark disc is the hours. It rotates, twice a day, and then that disc mounted within it with the weird offset concentric circles is the minute disc. It's got a minute hand. It points it out. There's two different colorways. They're both basically the same on the inside, and it's just kind of the outer track that gives it the colors. This is a collaboration. It's done with, oh God, the artist name escapes me. Something with a DE, right? Help.
Oh, is that where it comes from? Right, okay.
Yeah. That's the guy's name. Come on.
His name's DEI.
No.
He's not getting the States either.
It'll say it multiple times in here.
All right, you want me to Daniel Engelberg.
Yes.
Engelberg.
Anyway, this is sort of in his style where this translates well from their concept to sort of this art series he did. Very interesting watch. Kind of reminds me of that AP with the offset concentric circles that augment the depth. But in this, it's sort of the reverse. It gives it a sunken appearance, but at the same time, it's a domed thing. Someone in the comments said that the pink one looks like a stoned fisheye, and I just haven't been able to shake that thought out once they said it. So there's that now. But it's a very artistic expression of a Ressence for a watch that normally looks kind of like a weird smartwatch. This is a very different aesthetic direction, and it's their entry-level model, but it's a collab, so it's quite expensive. It's a stone's throw away from some of the more complex models, but it being simple works very well for the design. And if you look up some of the artist's artwork within this series, it very much sort of mirrors this offset concentric circle playing with depth sort of concept.
Cool. And Ressence seemed to be a brand I thought was going to really take off like 6-7 years ago. I thought this is the future, and it just doesn't seem to have really advanced any of the. Is it struggling, or has it reached its? Have we reached peak Ressence?
The price floor is high. Like these are expensive watches, even when they're done on a minimal level. It's based on an ETA movement, and it's this like magnetically coupled module. I've never had one in my possession for an extended period of time. They're wound and set through the case back, but because it's magnetically coupled, you have to turn it slowly. You can't just torque it.
Oh, right, okay.
So I imagine there's,
Ripley's twerking days are over.
Yeah, you can't twerk your Ressence. So I think it's not necessarily the most intuitive or easiest one to use. The older ones that had a bunch of oil in them, God knows where you're going to get that upper module serviced. So I think people were scared off from it. And when it's like $30,000, it's not necessarily the thing someone just takes a flyer on. So they have their audience, and they're working within it and diversifying some of the designs they make, but they're all expensive. This is like $20-something thousand, and this is like basically a two-hand. Yeah, 22 and a half, and it's a two-handed watch.
Yeah,
based on an ETA.
Okay, is it a hit, a miss, or a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Being very generous. There's 3 hits, 2 hits, 3 hits, and a maybe. Ariel, why is it just a maybe?
So I consider the founder of Ressence a friend. We have interesting conversations. We've been very honest with one another. And I know a lot of the background stuff of why they haven't achieved some of the things that they've done. A lot of it has to do with it's very difficult to make. Not a lot of them have performed very chronometrically well. And I'm kind of against the idea that on top of the already high price of a watch, we need to pay more because now it's suddenly an art object, when I'm sure these dials don't cost that much more to make, and there's already plenty of built-in margin to share with the artists. So on one level, I like that they're doing this, but I don't like this as like an excuse to be like, and charge a lot more money for it, because now it's not just a watch, but it's collectible art. And that's just marketing hooey. I can't really tell if this is pretty, or I'll get really kind of annoyed at looking at it after a while. They're quite small in size and a bit feminine, so I'm not sure if it's right for me. So I like the idea of the brand. I will second the idea that if you are concerned about reliability and the thing working perfectly, Ressence, or not every product might be perfect for you. And again, I'm just not sure if this is nice enough to actually be considered art on top of a Ressence. So again, maybe because I like a lot of things the brand does, but I don't think they've ever sort of hit the potential they could have. And again, for sometimes very understandable reasons. And I admire a lot of a lot of things they worked on. I mean, Benoit, the founder of the brand, has put in an enormous amount of love and passion into building something.
David, you give it a hit.
Yeah, easy hit for me. I really like the application of these shapes and colors. They seem to go organically with the overall theme and design and functionality of the watch. So I think it's a cool execution. I wish these were not quite so damn expensive though, but cool looking pieces.
Ripley?
Yeah, it's very expensive. It's not something if I had the type of money where this is like a trivial purchase, I'd happily vote for and get one. So that's why I said it's a hit in a vacuum, irrespective of the price or the ownership or performance of it. I just think it's a really cool looking piece. I wouldn't necessarily, want to treat it in the same way I would a collectible piece of art. But in terms of just a very visually striking watch that has some interesting things going on mechanically as well, yeah, for sure. This thing looks cool, and I'll take the stonefish eye one. I think the brighter colors make it much more dynamic.
In the chat, Horrelswagger making the point of, or I suppose posing the question, is it possible that Ressence could make something similar to the MB&F Mad 1, something that takes it down a level of accessibility? Or is this basically to get this effect? There's really no other way of doing it than it costing 22 grand.
I don't think it needs to cost 22 grand. I think if you look at the entry point for the Type 8 collection for their standard production models, that's probably about as low as you can get it. These are quite a bit less complex than there's, let alone like the E-Crown thing they do where it like syncs to your Bluetooth and all of that stuff. It's just a complex mechanism. It's not as simple as just like swap the hands out for a dome display. You have one thing rotating in another. It's magnetically coupled. It's not really like just get creative like a Mr. Jones type of watch where they're getting very creative with the dial and hands, but they're not having to reinvent the wheel from a mechanical perspective.
They could by not making it mechanical. I mean, I think of Quinting,
interesting,
which is I don't even know if they're still around, but a high-end quartz maker. It was one of the only ones for a while. It sold quartz movements that did things you really couldn't do with mechanical. They were all analog. And I think that's the direction here. I think that there's interesting electronic movements that could be built to power stuff like this. It's not like you see the movement. The whole point of this is a visual effect. I think that's the way to go. I don't think that the brand is inherently against it. I just think that it would require, of course, a lot of engineering, because you might need to have new movements, and that would be more money than they have. Ironically, sometimes building these mechanical watch modules can be less expensive than building sort of a new electronic system.
Ripley, you kind of mentioned the idea that if you had the money, my question is, this is not a daily wearer. Even if you had the money, this is not a watch you're wearing every day. I'm curious as to what everyone's go-to not everyday wearer would be if money was no object. If the £500,000 suddenly dropped into your lap, would you feel you had to spend the £500,000, or would you just spend the 22 grand on this? So you can only buy watches with the money that's landed. You're not allowed to save some of it for a house.
So what are the parameters of this game?
So we just have to choose a $500,000 watch. I'm spending all the money.
Yeah, you're spending all of it. I'm just curious to what your go-to, or if I had the money, that would be nice to have watch would be.
Yellow Saxon Hublot. That's nice. That's the end game piece. Like that.
Right, okay. Yellow
a good one.
Saxon Hublot.
The neon yellow Saxon Hublot. Yeah, that's
Right. Okay. The sapphire one.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. No,
Right,
no,
okay,
Saxon.
yeah.
It's not sapphire. It's Saxon. Instead of having a triangular molecular structure, it is cubic, so you get a much more vivid color that doesn't shift as much at different angles.
Right, okay. And David, what would be your
EM, SAXEM.
SEXEN?
EM.
EM.
SE.
No,
No,
SAXEM.
SAXEM.
EM, Saxem. Right, okay. I thought you were just getting
That's
me to try and
brilliant
type in
branding right there.
rude things. There we go. So this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd have a
That's
little
not too
money left
shabby.
over. I don't think it's full.
I think you would should have a little
500,000.
money left over from your $500,000. But I'm just
Yeah.
it's like what is your frippery watch? The one that you're like, yeah, just for the sake of it. David?
Oh, I would probably get a
You're
Daytona
buying the same
dripping
watch.
dripping with diamonds. Probably that's what I would do.
So
I would get a rainbow Daytona probably.
rainbow, not just or a rainbow Hublot. I'm wondering if actually everyone's go to frippery watch turns out it's an Hublot everyone would buy.
I could get a Hublot too. I mean, there's some nice ones out there. Yeah.
Yes, nice. That's right, Ariel. Ultimate challenge, making a choice.
Yeah, I don't know if actually the budget's enough for it. I'd probably I'm in the mood lately for
Compromise, Ariel.
No, I'm like,
$500,000 compromise.
only in this hobby. I've been thinking about something like a Grubel Force or a Ferdinand Berthoud. That's been in my taste lately. Something like that. Again, those both have watches that far exceed $500,000 doesn't get you a lot of Grubel Force these days.
Good.
You can get you a
I can
small
barely
one.
get a tourbillon. Maybe one.
You get one finished component in the movement for $500,000.
No strap. People have been asking in the chat. They're disappointed, Ariel, that you haven't yet named what your complications that you wish to invent are. People are asking from last week's show when we were talking about you've got this idea of complications for watches that nobody does. The people want to know. The people might want to steal the idea, but the people want to know.
Let's be honest. I have a history of having a lot of my ideas stolen, and I've been burned a lot by enthusiastically sharing. And all of you guys know all the creative projects I'm trying to work on all the time. So I genuinely want to hold on to ideas for the opportunity to maybe do them sometime. Because again, this industry likes to take things that aren't theirs.
Good stuff.